Hello, everyone. Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center. We are here with our one and only Ona from Ona's Tarot. Hi, Ona.
Hi.
I hear you have a beautiful day today in
Oh
Chicago.
my God, gorgeous. The last video I posted was Helene's, uh,
Fury.
yeah, her north end kind of getting absorbed by Lake Michigan and where I got splashed. And it was cloudy and rainy. And even like when you can open the windows, paper felt damp and crackers got soft. I had the
Sorry.
nuts that were like paste. I'm like, what happened?
What happened? Well, Helene happened.
I'm so sorry if like I know you got viewers and every bit. This is really awful. And just
The two people that I know that live in Asheville proper are both safe. One
okay.
is still in Asheville, but she didn't get any water in her house, and the other one I don't know, but she ended up going to a different city.
Yeah.
They can't get back into Asheville because a lot of the roads are washed out.
Highway 40 between Tennessee and North Carolina, and Highway 40 had a history. It was that highway that had a boulder, and there's a sign that says they're closing off the highway. You're like, well, what am I supposed to do here? Like 2 lanes, and you turn around and go back.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was Highway 40. Apparently, the entire road eroded, and that is one of the main ones between Tennessee and North Carolina. So my friend that lives there went to Atlanta. She evacuated. She took her dog. She made it to Atlanta yesterday, and there was some kind of chemical spill in near her friend's house where she's staying, and they're all secluded and locked in until hazmat has cleaned up whatever explosion just happened. And my girl, don't come back to Chicago.
Hopefully she's not watching this. She's gonna feel like a little bit of a jinx.
She already knows. She doesn't even have to ask. She's always welcome. She already knows she can come here anytime. Yeah, no.
So we have a new moon in the sign of Libra this month. This is the Moon Shadows episode for the new moon in Libra and the annular solar eclipse in Libra. So this is when you see the ring around this side, like the moon goes over it, but then there's the ring.
Are
But we
we gonna
won't
see? We're not gonna see
we
anything.
won't see it. No, no, we won't see it. But well, just we've had enough, I think. That's it's okay. We can share the wealth on those. We talked about, I think, on Mystic Sisters, how it seemed like this Helene sort of a little bit followed the path of the eclipse back in April. I haven't looked further. I mean, there might be something similar to happening now that was
Until things happen and then you weave it together, you're like, oh yeah,
yeah, oh yeah, that's right.
right.
Yeah. So Libra is an energy, it's an air sign. And so it really is about relating. It's the sign where we become aware that there's somebody else in the room. And so this is a time of making connections, reconnecting perhaps with people, with relationships, being willing to listen, being willing to help, perhaps. I think there's a lot of people probably who will be doing that with people that, that they know. It's Venus ruled. So Venus has been, very powerful, especially with, Kamala running for president, the rising of the feminine energy. And Venus right now is in Scorpio. So
Yeah, I was just gonna
she's
say,
taking no prisoners. She's taking no prisoners.
is
Uh,
she visible in the sky?
I don't, I was thinking that. I don't think yet. I
I'm
don't
on
think
comet
she's.
watch now, so I'm gonna be up before the sun watching to see if the comet
Right.
at my little
Right.
stellarium.
And she was morning star, so she should come up as evening star now.
Oh,
I think she's going into her evening star
yeah.
phase. But when we look at the chart, we'll have a better idea because we'll see how close she is. She might still be a little bit too close to the sun to see, but I should know that. I should have looked that up. So you got me. All right, let me just we'll take a look at the chart and then we can talk about our experiences and different things like that. So let me
Yeah.
just pull
Look
something
at
up.
this chart.
All right.
Sometimes it's just hard to let stuff go. And it's kind of where this new moon's meeting you know?
I'm trying to get on my slideshow. My computer's very slow today.
Love her outfit.
Oh, at the wrong one. Okay, hold on. It pulls up and it actually pulls it up on the wrong one. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, it's a Monday.
Come on now. There we go. All right. Oh, up. Oh no. My thing is possessed.
See,
So eclipsey.
that's Venus. Yeah, that's Venus too. Like, she wants to change her outfit before she shows up, kind of thing.
So we
We're all over the bed right now. She can't figure it out.
all right, let me see here.
Is it a moon day? No, it's a judgment day.
It's a judgment day, yes, it's a judgment day. All right. Oh, it's so weird. Can you see this?
I see it says new moon annular solar eclipse at 11 degrees of Libra.
Okay.
And the Sabian symbol is professor peering over his glasses at his students teaching.
Yes, developing the ability to share what we have learned, seeing teaching as a revelation of light. I love this symbol, actually. Absolutely love it. So here's the chart. It's weird because hopefully this is working because I can't see us. I can only see the chart, which is
I could
weird.
see all everything. I could
Can
we're
you
on the side. Yeah.
can you see? Okay, all right.
Yeah.
As long as we're here. All right. So this is over here on the left is the path of the eclipse, and you can see it's in the Pacific. And maybe it goes a little bit over, what is that, Chile and Argentina down there. And then on Easter Island, where they have those giant statues, where they dug them up. But we also have to look at Venus. Venus is at 12 degrees of Scorpio as the ruler of Libra. And it's interesting, diplomatic struggling. Rather ironically, the display of power is an aspect of keeping the peace. There is greater disinclination to attack a strong neighbor. Keeping open difficult relationship with skills in diplomacy. And it's interesting because before we got on, we were talking about like we're kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop on like so many different levels. What's going on in the Middle East, what's going on in the Ukraine, and what's going on in our own presidential election. I mean, Dumpf is really is that called decompensating? Is that what that's
It's
called?
decompensating. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
definitely use that and say he's decompensating. Absolutely.
Right?
Yep. Yep.
So,
It's
so
first every day. Yeah.
the other interesting thing about this new moon eclipse, of course, it's the south node. We can see the south node right here. It's in the ninth house, which would indicate foreign relations in the United States chart. Anyway, this chart is erected for Washington, D.C. You would like if you wanted to know how it would affect San Francisco or where you live or a different country, like say maybe Tel Aviv, you would have to put that as the location, and you'd see what areas were being activated for those countries. I also want to mention that this is very active on Vladimir Putin's chart. Very
Mhm.
active. In fact, if I can, we'll get off of this particular um, uh, thing, and I'll pull up Vlad's chart just so we
Yeah.
can both see. But you see, there's a grand trine here with Venus, Mars, and Saturn, which is
Water,
interesting.
water, water,
All in water.
all in
And
water.
the nodes are ruled, right, by
Mm.
Venus and Mars. The north node is Mars ruled, the south node is Venus ruled. And with Saturn here making this grand trine, it's and the thing with grand trines is there has to be something that sort of activates it.
Yeah.
Um, and the moon actually does I mean, the new moon activates it by a square here, right? And we also have a sesquiquadrate of the new moon to Uranus. And that's a little bit disturbing. Sesquiquadrates are difficult aspects. They require, um, this particular sesquiquadrate would require a humbling. So there's a very good chance that somebody in power will be humbled. Somebody with a big ego will be humbled. Now, that could be Trump, that could be Netanyahu, that could be Putin, that
Oh,
could be
yeah.
any number of people, right? I mean,
Yeah, right. Pick from a bunch of giant egos for sure, right?
right? And then we have to remember that Uranus is still on Capit Algol, right? Lose your head. Change of, and it's in a very tight square to Trump's Mars. Okay, so there's a lot of stress. It's also stressing Joe Biden's chart. So there is quite a bit of
I think
energy.
it's fair to feel that way, right? I think, it's fair to feel like, uh-oh, or a little guarded.
Hmm.
Even if you don't understand this and you're feeling like that, I think it's fair to say that all this is putting people on edge a little bit.
Yeah. Well, for good reason. I mean, for good reason. We just have to look around. But we also have, to point this out, we have this trine between Pluto and Uranus, and then we have these sextiles to Neptune. So this is like a mini like trine really. And anytime something is in Virgo over here, it activates this whole thing. And there's been a whole bunch of activation of Mercury and Venus and Mars right now. So and next week we're going to have a Venus Mars exact trine. We just had Saturn exactly trine Mars, which I think was part of the flooding of the weekend because that happened. That actually happens today, right? I think so. I think this actually happens today. Mars
Yeah,
and
today.
Saturn are trining, and then later in the week we have Venus trining um, Saturn. So a lot of relationship, a lot of relating, a lot of the need to relate, perhaps in a new way. Uh,
Is Mercury conjunct the South Node today? I have that written down. Is that today?
no, it was though. It was conjunct the South Node. South Node's it's conjunct the Sun. Today it conjuncts the Sun. So
Oh,
it's
today
today
conjunct
it's
the
like
Sun.
right here because
Okay.
this is for the second, October 2nd. And of course, this is a day of awakening, right? The
Yeah.
judgment card, the awakened soul, the waking up to a higher spiritual calling, and everybody is going to be sort of doing that, but in their own way, because not everybody's, spiritual calling is the same. if you know what I
Maybe
mean.
testing it.
Yes. Yeah. And then also, sometimes we can sort of look upon like some of the more like traditional Christiany kind of things where they think that they think that Trump is Jesus, or that he's the one who came. And on a certain level, we're all sort of grasping for the same thing. We're all sort of grasping for the reasons that we're in the situation that we find ourselves, and then finding ways of
Yeah.
getting out of it. Although we don't feel like I think the difference is some people are waiting to be saved, and we're looking to see what can we do to improve the situation so that it goes. So there's a connection to something higher than ourselves, but
Mhm.
we it, at least I don't feel like I feel like I'm a participant in it instead of just you know,
Right.
waiting for things to happen, because we have free will, and we have a choice, and we have a choice of where we're going to put our energy. And despite the fact that everything looks terrible, um, there's miracles all around. There's miracles everywhere. And, we're at a time when we're in a great change. Um, so what have you been smelling? I was
It's
just
been, when
synesthesia.
I tune into the moon, it's been kind of and it's funny because I just noticed that it's the ninth house, which is Jupiter ruled. I told you, I'm like, there's like that sulfuric undertone in just about everything right now. So I wonder if the mint is coming in so strong because it's telling me to like
Get your mint ready.
get the mint ready. But it feels like that. It feels like you have to wake up,
Yeah.
like open your eyes. It's got like a toothpastey kind of thing, not spearmint, but like a peppermint sort of, and eucalyptus mint, that kind of stuff together. It's not bad.
Right.
It's
Right.
not bad, but there's definitely that um I said sulfur, ammonia
Excuse me.
thing going on.
Oh, you have
It's,
ammonia? Okay. Yeah,
it's
ammonia, that's
Jupiter.
Jupiter. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It was Pete in the hallway too today. So it was like blasting.
You smelled it in your hallway, did you say?
Jib was Pete in the hallway today.
Oh no. Uh-oh,
Like,
Jibs.
I get it. I get it. And sometimes that'll come in like a mint, like I need to get some or grab some or find some. Cinnamon works really well too. But after a while, it doesn't. After a while, it doesn't. So I kind of put the cinnamon away and then I'll go back to something different or what helps, or maybe a texture works better than a flavor. But it's definitely got that sort of like minty kind of thing going on. And I don't know, is it harvest time? Are you pulling mint plants out of the ground?
Well, I know in my garden the spearmint is blooming now. So it could just be that time of year, right? And isn't like mint or spearmint sacred to Venus, or is it Libra, or what was
Libra.
Libra?
I
Yeah.
did just look that up. It was the Libra, but it's got more of a hardcore kind of thing. But yeah, definitely that is what I use to knock out a overwhelming stimulus is mint and cinnamon. But this is more of like a pepperminty kind of thing. It's harsh, but
Okay.
that is one of Libra's plants, and it's probably yeah because it's blooming right now. I should know that.
Of course, apples. You
I
want
like to rule out other things that might be, that it might be an environmental thing.
right.
Yes, and caramel apples are back on the shelf.
I love caramel apples. That's
bought
like my
5.
favorite.
I had a 3-pack and then I bought 2 extra, like 2, 5. It, I know, not even like
Well, an apple a day, right? I mean, imagine you add caramel, it's got to be better.
I can't eat it like, a caramel
Yeah.
apple. I cut it up and
Oh,
put
yeah.
it and squeeze lime juice in there. It's really good.
Now
And
I'm
the
gonna
caramel doesn't
have to
get
go out.
hurt in the refrigerator if you
Yeah.
put some of it away. So I'll like cut all of them and put them in a bowl.
I'll be right over. I should be there in a couple hours. I would do I would do that for a good caramel apple. So let me show you I'm going to share the screen again. This time we're going to look at Putin because I mentioned him. I just want to point that
Yeah.
out to people.
And this is South Node, and that South Node is nothing to like, you're talented that way, right? And you're gifted that way. But it's also past stuff
Right.
that needs to be ironed out or it gets passed on.
Right. Well, the South Node eclipses are releasing. It's the releasing side of
Yeah.
um, the nodes, but it is a new moon. So I feel like you have to let something go before you can start something on this new moon. Even if it's a token of letting go, even if it's like
This is
you
South Park.
finally like, threw away your taxes from 10 years ago because you realize you don't need to keep them. Like even just something like that. Although that doesn't sound like very much fun, probably just something maybe a little bit more cheerful than your taxes.
Yeah.
So this is Vladimir Putin in the middle. And this is the eclipse on the outside, and we can see that this eclipse is on his sun. Okay, and it is a south node eclipse, and it's the sun in a solar eclipse. The sun gets eclipsed by the moon, so in a way, the feminine is eclipsing the sun, the masculine. So there's that, and we also have a couple of other things. Mars is sitting on his Uranus,
Yeah.
and he's having a Venus return. So his Venus is at the same degree as the Venus that we looked at for the actual eclipse, right? The 12 degrees.
Ruling it. Yeah. Yeah.
And he has Uranus. Uranus is sort of, what is Uranus? Uranus is actually in conjunct
Mars.
his Mars. So he has Mars on Uranus and Uranus in conjunct Mars. That's a very sort of unexpected energy that you don't necessarily see coming. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of the
The
energy.
Mars and Uranus make me feel like it's defending your homeland. However, you just got like screwed, like something you didn't plan ahead well enough.
Well, whenever Uranus is in the picture, we're always sort of looking at surprise, like a surprise, something unexpected. And something not just unexpected, but something you can't plan for. Uranus, no matter how hard, even if you know Uranus is happening and you make all the things, you take all the precautions, Uranus is still going to show itself.
You
You
know,
know,
it's
I'm
it's
not going out this week. That's it. I'm in. Uranus is doing this to my chart. And then you stub your toe on the bed. Like something's going to happen.
if it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
Going to
And
happen.
Uranus, I mean, the ruler of his Uranus is the North Node. That's the only thing he has in Uranus at all. That is ruling his North Node right now. Well, he's always had
Oh, yes. I see what you're saying. Yep.
that, right? So the North Node could be, shaky ground.
He you know, couldn't be soon enough for this guy to exit stage left.
I'm not gonna cry over that one.
There's a couple of people.
Yeah.
Uh, all right. So I just thought that because we mentioned it, I thought that would be an interesting thing to look at. But why don't we pull some cards on this?
I feel like we have all our rulers are sort of like Trudeau is on the fence and Jimmy Carter is turning 100 the same day. That's a chart we should look at. My God, that's going to be like, hang in there, just vote. You
well,
know,
he might have already voted. When do the ballots go out in Georgia? You know, I was thinking, I would imagine that Asheville is a very blue place.
yes.
And it's going to be
Well,
interesting to see if they can get it together for people to vote or that people even going to be there. I mean, you know what I mean? Like if you can't get in and your house isn't there anymore, right? It's kind of weird in a way
that's a good point.
because it is a battleground state.
That is one of those states, yeah, that really is important. You know what? I'm gonna ask my friend. Let's see what she says. How are you gonna vote? Because she is really excited about this election.
I bet she is.
I think I was hoping she could be home by that time. Honestly, I don't know. I have a friend that lives in Nashville that had to evacuate to Atlanta. So that's a great question. There are a lot of misplaced people out there.
Yeah, not just there, but like the whole Florida, all I mean the whole thing.
Right.
The whole thing.
Tennessee, all of it.
Yeah. All right. So I don't have, pull a, I want, I wanted to pull a, anyway, an oracle, but I don't have my oracles here. Uh-oh.
Mm,
Let's see if we can fix me. Okay, hold on a second. Magic. Magic.
Yep.
Magic. All right. I did a reading today on Princess, what's her name? Catherine.
Yes, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they
Couple
came
on
to.
my sheet that I need to do, and I want to make sure this mic works well because it sounded awful on Sunday. It was tilted weird, and
You know what I think happens? Because you do those early on a Sunday, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so you whisper a little bit because you don't want to wake up your neighbors.
I don't. I don't.
You're gonna have to put the
It
microphone.
was, I had moved it and didn't, it never occurred to me that it needed to be angled in a certain direction because the thing is like huge. So, I listened to it, I was like, oh, and then I think I fixed it okay, and I'm not sure. What's the question? What are we pulling the cards in?
I'm just pulling cards for this eclipse.
Okay. How is
I
this,
just Go ahead.
how is this eclipse going to affect the US?
Okay, that's a good question. So I picked three cards. I got the Queen of Cups,
Oh, okay.
the Moon, the
That's,
lunacy,
yep, well, that's the eclipse.
and then the Fool.
And the sun. Oh, no, no, the sun is, okay.
Yeah, the Fool. No, it's not the Sun.
The
The Fool.
hair is one of the Libra,
Oh, is it?
yeah, one of the Libra animals, yeah.
I feel as though we're going to be like, there's really going to be an October surprise. And the idea of the Fool is someplace we haven't been before. Someplace we haven't been before.
All right, we got to figure out who this Mayoress of Water is. Queen of Cups. She came up.
Mhm.
I got Three of Earth. How is this eclipse going to affect the United States? Three of Earth, so got a lot of this going on. This kind of social media, like looking at surveillance, you know, really kind of focusing on what you want to put together, architect.
Hmm.
3 pentacles. Then I got the devil, enslavement, upside down.
Okay.
Remember the devil from the other cards and the other times we pulled?
Yep.
So something is released, which is exactly what this moon is supposed to do, right? And the Queen of Cups.
Oh. Hmm.
She looks more calculated and measured in this deck.
Well, that's Marie Curie, probably,
Yeah. And that's
which kind of makes the whole idea of radioactivity and Uranus being so active in this chart kind of makes sense.
yeah.
I thought radioactivity might be a theme of this eclipse.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know what that means or where that means or what it's going to happen, but it is something we want to keep our eyes open to, I think.
Interesting. Interesting. Huh. All right.
Especially on Putin's chart.
Yeah. We'll see.
We'll see.
You know,
Not to scare anybody. And again, everything is a possibility, but nothing is guaranteed. And so we have the capacity in with our co-creative abilities to put the energy where we want to see it. And so I think that's important. It's good to know. If you know, like if you're gonna go out, you should know if it's gonna rain, right? Like that's a good thing to know, to prepare yourself. But it could be a sunny day and you're like, wow, I carried this umbrella for nothing. Not
yeah,
really. Not really.
right.
So I don't know. So I would say this full moon, I like
No. What,
new
stone?
moon, new moon stone. Tiger eye, I like tiger eye
You like
as a
time?
balancing stone.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of tiger eye lately, I think. Um, Mostly almost every moon thing I've been pulling up, I've been talking about tiger eye. Um, I think rose quartz is a great stone.
Always to honor Venus, rose quartz is awesome. I'm getting copper, just copper. A
Yeah,
piece
well,
of copper. If you have
yeah,
anything that's
sacred
copper,
to Venus, sacred to Venus.
I've been working with that color all week. I know it's only Monday, but for me, I've been working with it for like days, making my color copper.
Yeah.
Don't even. Um, but even if you have a piece of it, I think, or you know, you connect, it's the best conductor.
Right.
And
And
I
we need to,
think,
yeah. And all this Libra energy is pointing to listening to each other and
yes,
talking it over and relating and lending a hand. And how can I help? How can I be of service?
yeah,
Like that's the question. That's the question. Nobody, I'm sure, in Asheville, when the guys come to save them from their roof, are gonna say, "Well, who'd you vote for?" Like nobody cares, right? It's not, let's stop the ridiculousness. Let's vote. And if you have information to tell people that they may not know because they're not getting all the information, you could perhaps bring that up. But other than that, um,
listen more.
listen. Yeah.
It's hard to appreciate that a lot of people that believe in all this conspiratorial stuff and eating cats and dogs and they're true, that's a syndrome. That's like Stockholm syndrome, where you admire and you start to fall in love with your predator. You've seen it like women falling in love with like, murderers in jail kind of thing.
Right.
It's an illness. It's clinical. I mean, some of it, you know, you want to be like, oh my God, I can't believe, but some of it is like, wow, that's kind of scary, you
Yeah.
know?
So, yeah, so I guess we're gonna find out. And of course, this eclipse will be a year from the last South Node eclipse, which started the whole Israel Gaza thing. So that Hezbollah, whoever the
Yeah.
people are.
That is
Yeah,
Rosh
so
Hashanah too.
yes. Well, yeah, it's all lunar calendar for them.
Yep. Yep.
It's all lunar calendar for them. So we'll see what happens, but let's pray for peace. Let's hold peace in our heart. The best way to do that is just to, if you're having an issue with somebody in your life, is to do your best to come to some sort of compromise, even if it's to just step away from a situation that's creating chaos, as long as it's not something that's like a timestamp on it, like you have to decide by this moment, then I guess you have to deal with it. But might be better to step away and see what the eclipse is going to offer us. Because I think that, again, things are going to look very different after this.
Yeah.
And so to decide what to do now seems like it might not be helpful.
Mm.
God, God has helped us.
We're good. Remember Libra season. She's sovereign. She's sovereign.
Well, with Venus and Scorpio, she's not taking prisoners, I'll tell you that.
Good for her.
And maybe that's what that the Queen of Cups is talking about.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep that out and think about that. So tiger's eye, copper, sovereignty, relationships, listening, breathing. I think we got it.
That's
We
right.
got this moon and eclipse
Yes, we got it.
and New Year and everything else.
All
It's gonna
right. I think that's what's coming up for me. So let us know what comes up for you in the comments. As always, it's a pleasure to do these with you, Ona, and share it with folks. Next time you see us, we'll be on Ona's channel doing Mystic Sisters. That's next Saturday. And then we'll right after that we'll have the full moon, which is also another big cadoodle.
I know.
It's not an eclipse.
It's the fall season.
It's not an eclipse, so that's good. Next moon is not an eclipse. But we'll see what that full moon is always sort of a harvest to this new moon. So we'll have a better idea of where we stand by then.
So definitely putting down, letting something go. I know it's always, we always say that, but truly if you don't consciously want to let something go, it'll get like ripped right off of you. The
Yeah.
South Node stuff. And
Better to let go.
yeah,
Better to let go in this.
yeah.
Yeah.
When you're water skiing, you let go of the rope. Let go of the rope. Or you'll just be in the water like
You'll be skipping like a rock.
and the water's like talking right now.
All right, darling. Well, again, it's been a pleasure. We'll see you guys next time for Moon Shine on Ona's channel. Until then, have a lovely new moon. And this is a good time to even start a relationship um, with this. And perhaps the best relationship would be with your own higher self, because that's what Libra is about as well. Connecting with your higher self. Just a little ditty for you. All right, guys, take care, everyone. We love you. Namaste.
Bye-bye.